Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming along today. We're just going to wait an extra couple minutes because we've got a few more people coming on, and then we'll get the webinar started. Thank you very much. Okay, guys, thank you all very much for coming along to our 3D Repo for Remote Working webinar today. My name is Jack Williams, and I'm the Senior Account Manager here at 3D Repo. So I look after key accounts and any newcomers to 3D Repo. I'm also accompanied by Bogdan Davidov. He's a background in architecture, and he is our Customer Success Manager. So he's just ensuring our customers are getting the full potential out of 3D Repo. And if they have any technical issues, that he's there to help them. So I will go over the agenda for the day. Sorry, guys. There we go. So for the agenda for today. So first of all, we'll go over the challenges for remote working. And then I'll give you an introduction to 3D Repo and what collaborations we've done before. And then followed up by that, we've got a live demonstration from Bogdan. So if you guys have any questions throughout the webinar, please make sure you put them in the questions box, and then we'll do a live Q&A after the webinar. So what are some of the challenges for remote working? How do we keep the collaborative process going when we're all working remotely? Do you have the correct hardware at your home to run certain types of software? Can you access all your software licenses? Can you collaborate in real time with the other parties on a project? What if you can't collaborate in real time? How do you make sure you don't miss out on any crucial information? Can you access your data when you need it? Is it stored on your hard drive at work, or is it stored in the cloud? And is your data still secure when you're working remotely? And last of all, how can you monitor your team's progress? So this is where 3D Repo is really helpful. What it is a cloud-based BIM software that provides you a platform to collaborate and coordinate on with all parties throughout a project. Since we are a cloud-based software, that means you do not need to have any desktop application installed onto your computer. All you need to have is an internet access, and you can access your models anywhere in the world. So how does our platform actually work? So on the right-hand side, you can see various file formats from different design authoring tools that are all compatible with 3D Repo. Those are uploaded into the cloud. Through there, you can optimize them through BIM coordination, health and safety risk register through safety base, data validation, change and clash detection, and GIS integration. We have an open API, so this means other software companies can easily integrate into 3D Repo or build custom software solutions on top of us. And we can also link our data to external data analytical tools such as Power BI, Node-RED, and Dynamo. So we'll just go over some of the features that we offer. So to start off is issue tracking. What this is doing, you are navigating through the model and recording any issues with 3D pins. Those are then assigned to the correct parties on that project to action them. So this is a very handy tool for pre-construction and during construction stages. Safety-based risk register. It's very similar to issue tracking, but rather than tracking your issues, you're trying to mitigate health and safety risks. So you're going through your model and you're identifying these hazards well before construction starts. It's also the only compliant tool in the market with PAS 1192 Part 6, which is for managing risk data in a BIM world. We also have data validation. So we use a thing called smart groups. Now what that does, you're isolating different elements within the model, and then you're interrogating that data and validating it through breaking them up into their own each individual elements. 3D diff. So what this tool does is compares revisions against each other, and it highlights the geometry in the green or red color. So as you can see here, we are comparing the MEP revisions. So anywhere that's highlighted green, that's additional geometry, and anywhere that's highlighted red, that's a decrease in geometry. So you can easily identify what changes have been made in that revision. And also we do clash detection. So that's comparing different model elements, and if there's any intersection points, they are highlighted red. So as you can see in this photo here, we've got the structural steel being compared to the MEP piping, and you can easily see where these clashes are happening because any intersection points are highlighted red. So what you do from here is you can create an issue, and then you can let the MEP team know that there is a clash. So we've also put a couple case studies in here as well. So these are actually in the handouts tab on the little box on the right. So after the webinar, it would be great for you guys to have a look into it, because we're just going to briefly go over them. So this is King's Cross Railway Station. Our customer SBI has been working in conjunction with Network Rail to remodel the King's Cross Railway Station. This project was worth over £250 million with 300 designers and contractors across multiple companies. They needed a software that could provide a collaboration platform that can be accessed through the internet, so working remotely would not be an issue. 3D Repo enabled them to do this. We've also done work with Wharf, so and that's in conjunction with Canary Wharf contractors to deliver the Wharf project, to help deliver 490,000 square feet of hand-picked retail spaces, 3,600 new homes, and 8 acres of riverside parklands and gardens. There were over 100 different design firms were appointed to develop the new district. Those using 3D Repo to collaborate include Allies and Morrison, Adamson Associates, WSP, and Sweco. It became a crucial platform for the various parties to collaborate together effectively between all major parties on the project. So the security for 3D Repo, we're a UK government approved supplier, that's through the G Cloud. We have ISO 9001 and ISO 27001 certifications. We've secured, our services secured via 2048-bit extended validation certificates. Our data at risk encrypted and access protected by API service wrapper. And we have an encrypted transfer protocol. Our hosting options, so we host locally here on AWS in the UK, but if you require private deployment in other countries, we can access Google Cloud, AWS, or Microsoft Azure. And if you need on-premise deployment, we can arrange that for you if you need that level of security. These are some of the licensing options we have. I'd recommend just signing up for a free account and having a play around with the platform and getting used to it, because it is a really nice and simple tool to use. And if you do have questions about pricing, you can contact myself. But now we're going to jump into the live demonstration. Make sure if you do have questions, put them in the question box. And at the end of the demonstration, there will be a survey as well. So if you can make sure that you can fill that out, that'd be amazing. But I will pass it over to Bogdan. Thank you very much, guys.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Jack. Can you hear me well?
Yep, I can hear you, Bogdan.
Okay, fantastic. Let me just bring my screen up. Give me 1 second.
Okay, mate.
Okay. Just gonna bring my screen. Can you see everything? All good?
Yep, we can see it, Bogdan.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending this webinar, and thanks for the quick presentation, Jack. I hope that is all clear for you guys in terms of what 3D Repo does. Here, I'm going to show you a quick demo of the product, how it works, and what it is that you can do. And hopefully, we'll give you some ideas how it can help your project delivery. So one of the things that was pointed out is the fact that we are a cloud-based solution. What that means, we don't just store data in the cloud, we actually give you access to features and that data. What that means is that all you have to do is open the web browser and you can then get access to your projects and start collaborating with your team. You don't need to download and install any desktop application or wait for your IT department to approve it for a month or two. So that's thing of a past. We're trying to democratize the workflows for collaboration. As you can see, when I log into my account, I can see different companies that can share models with me. Within those, I have different projects. Within those projects, I can have all sorts of models and federations. But before we dive into that, security is of an essence. And how can we accommodate that is essentially by giving you user management tools. There you can invite people and assign levels of permission based on their discipline or what information they share with you. So you can drill down to specific projects if you want to, and within there you can go to specific model or federation and then have a look how much information is disclosed to that individual. Are they just viewing models, or are they collaborating, uploading stuff, or do they have admin rights? So once you've done your project setup and you assigned all people, all your stuff to relevant models, you can then jump straight to the project and start collaborating. Let me just bring this up. For instance, what we give you is containers. Within those containers, you can store as many model revisions as you like, right? So it's an audit trail tool. There you can see what model is uploaded, by whom, what file format, and you can quite easily federate it. Federating it is just selecting the models and bringing them all together into one space. If, for instance, there is a new model, there is a new issue assigned to you, or something else happens on the project, you get a little notification here. And then in here, you can see what's happening. Do you have any issues that you need to look at? Or are there any models that recently have been uploaded that you want to have a look at? So there's a notification center to accommodate the real-time news feed. If we open up this federation, I'll show you what the platform looks like when you start running it as a viewer. As you can see, we try and keep it simple. Most of the features are on the left side panel. And also on the bottom, you have a toolbar. That toolbar is there just to allow you to essentially, select model elements, show and hide them if you want to, drop section boxes. As you can see, everything really simple. There are only a few button clicks. Waste as little time trying to do something as possible, because we don't want people to spend weeks trying to learn how to use the software. For instance, if the model has data, you can activate the BIM card and then select model element and then see what data is available in there, and then drill through that data if you want to. So it's not just a fancy model viewer that shows you 3D geometry. You can actually view the data behind every model element, and then I'll show you how you can interrogate it later. So one of the main features is issue tracking. Let's have a look at that. And as you can notice, for instance, here we're federating quite a big model. We're bringing in different disciplines into one space. We have facade models, we have furniture models, we have structure, we have interior, MEP. So it's quite nice. And what's really nice is that we support many file formats. We can natively import Revit, IFC, FBX, OBJ, DGN, so people can upload it directly on the web browser, or they can use Navisworks plugin to push their Navisworks federations directly to 3D Repo. So for instance, if you're working in Revit and you have another discipline working in Bentley product suite, it doesn't stop you from collaborating. You can federate it all in one place here and then start resolving issues. So if we look at the issue tracking, As you can see that there are pins floating around the model. It's entirely up to you how you manage it. You can either go through the list and you can filter this list if you want to based on who it is assigned to, what kind of topic type it is it a clash? So as you can see, it filters out the issue pins as well. So then when you click on the issue pin, you jump directly to the issue that was picked up. And then what it contains is information about the actual issue. It's a BCF schema, it's industry standard, so you can export and import BCF files if you want to. But in here, we have a really nice centralized hub for issue resolution, where you can have information about the priority, issue status, who it is assigned to, any sorts of markup in terms of what the person is trying to address. So in that case, it's really nice and interactive as well, not just by looking at plain list of information in, let's say, your spreadsheet, but you can navigate around the model and see something is happening here and then jump directly to it. As I'm looking at the issues, I can see what kind of information people are sharing with me. So you can add attachments if you want to. You can share PDF files if you need to. You can share product specification links, documents, or links to common data environments. So there's no longer an issue of sending emails back and forwards and files being too large to send. Everything is in one place and everybody can see it. So if your colleague falls ill and then you have to take over, you can just jump in here and look what was happening, what people are looking at. When you look at a specific issue that they're trying to address, you can click on that comment and then you'll see exactly what they're looking at as well. You can also pull up their markup. What is it that they're trying to tell you? It's all about having a full audit trail, once again, not losing any information that could be crucial in resolving an issue. So you can use that to resolve any issues during design progress stages, or let's say pre-construction or anything like that. But you can also work with information like asset management, facility management, right? So you can create issues where you can tag assets. Like for instance, in here, I'm tagging this asset and I'm assigning my facilities manager guy. I'm sharing some sort of operations manuals or installation information that could be handy for them to obviously review once they go and install it on site. And by just seeing this model information as a 3D mesh and also model data, I can actually interact with it too, right? So for instance, this is an area where they're gonna go on site and start delivering installations for all this equipment. You can then say, okay, well, let's have a look how this area performs, right? I can do some measurements in here. If I want to, I can drop some custom area measurements. So I can actually have a look, how much room do I have? Do you guys have enough room to drop the equipment here? I can also check minimum distances, how much distance I have between this pipe and that pipe. Can they fit around there? Can they get their equipment in and do any sorts of installation? I can look at things like, let's say, valves in here. I can say, do they have enough room between each other? Can I open this valve? Is there enough distance? Have the guys done the design accordingly? So that's all in here. You can interact with it. You can take these measurements if you want to. Quite nicely, and if you want to, you can even add this information to an issue, right? So let's say this is an issue we're looking at. I've done some measurements and I want to attach this information as well. I include this in my screenshot, and then when I add the comment, the guys who are doing facilities management can have a look at what, let's say, designer myself picked up and said, oh, have a look at these dimensions, have a look at that. So once again, it's rather easy to interact with it with the click of a few buttons. It's not just creating screenshots or markups. You can actually pull data out of the model, and you can also take measurements, whatever they may be, minimum distances, custom areas, or just surface area of objects. So if we go back to the model, I'll show you how we can actually interact with the data that model has. If we're looking at this model in here, let me just hide the pins so it doesn't look too scary, so it doesn't seem like there are too many issues in this model. Okay, let's have a look at groups. Groups is a really cool thing because if it's in a federation, it's available to everyone. So we're no longer creating some sort of rule sets that only the creator gets to see. We can actually share it with others. We can use it to help us visualize models. So if I select MEP model and then I drop a color override, I can easily do color coding and then see what element belongs to what. discipline or company. So I can do it that way and help me visualize specific areas of the models and then see where components are coming in and out. But I can also, drop transparency if I want to. I drop a transparency in this basement wall. Now I can clearly see what's happening behind this wall. Do we have openings for all this MEP equipment? Is everything okay here? So I can use these groups to help me visualize the model if I want to. But on top of that, you can also use these groups to do data validation. So if we look for, let's say, doors, right? We have 951 doors in this model. I can isolate them. But I can also create specific rules where I can check, do these doors have fire rating or not? I can color code them as well. So I can drop color coding on the doors that have no fire rating. I can drop color on doors that have fire rating, and then easily in a click of a few buttons, I can actually see what information designer is providing me with. Have they included the information that I have requested? The rules that I create are really simple. They follow regex schema. So it's things like is, equal, greater than, contains, and it's literally us picking up a parameter and then checking its value. So for instance, if I bring up a BIM card and select element, we can see a list of parameters. We can query any parameter and its value. And this way we can either help ourselves visualize the model or validate the data that people are providing us with. So when I, for instance, drop color overrides and go back to the entire model view, I can then see clearly where the MEP elements are, where the doors that I'm asking for fire ratings are, where the doors that don't have fire ratings are in the model. So this way I can, color code my entire model and interact with it visually and also on the data level if you want to. And what's nice is that these smart groups are automatic. So if there is a new model revision, they automatically update. You don't have to run it again or click run. So if you make API requests, for instance, you can get the results for smart groups instantly from our servers. Another one of the cool features actually that is particularly useful. Okay, so we can do issue tracking and we can do kind of data validation and model visualization. Let's have a look at another thing that particularly is useful is actually tracking model changes, not on a data level, but also on the geometry level. If we open up our compare card and go to 3D diff, we can pick any model and any revision if we want to. So let's have a look at MEP, revision 2 versus revision 1. You can choose any revision there is. There could be a long list of them. But once we activate our compare card, we start loading our previous model revision, and then we start comparing geometry. Unlike other comparison tools that check for model ID element IDs, and then spit out, the entire object and tell you, oops, something's changed here, but you can't quite figure out. Here you can see where the change is happening exactly. So in the past, when I used to get models from MEP engineers that would make changes where I haven't requested them, or they told me that they made changes, but I couldn't find whether it has happened. In here, I can quickly visualize the exact changes that are made in the model between different revisions. So for instance, I see this ductwork is actually shrinking. As you can see, red is deletion of the volume. So if we go back to previous revision and then check our new revision, we start seeing that there's extra room around ductwork. There is some sort of new air handling unit or something like that. There's also a cable tray that is added as well. There's some sort of lights equipment that is, provided at the parking area. There's also massive MEP equipment that's on the roof. So you can quickly see what's happening, whether people are doing the work that you request or whether they're providing information that you haven't actually requested for this design stage, right? Because handling information is important, and sometimes I don't necessarily need to receive a massive model from another designer because I haven't requested it. So here you can quickly validate it. So that's 3D diff, right? That's checking geometry changes, and it's regardless of the file format. We're simply picking up geometry, right? It could be Navisworks versus IFC if you want to, or could be DGN and Revit file. It's entirely up to you. Let me show you another thing called instant clash. What it is, it's a different spin on clash detection. It's instant. So what we give is ability for you to instantly calculate any interference points in the model. So for instance, let's say MEP versus structure, base versus target. Once I activate it, we instantly start calculating interference points. So there we can see, as we fly around the model, we can go to specific area of the model and then see where there is a clash. For instance, in here, I see that there's actually a pipe running through the slab and there's no opening. In fact, the opening is on the side somewhere. So I can raise an issue from this if I want to, or I can just quickly leave it alone if it's not a problem to me at all. If I want to, I can actually go to predefined view as well. So if you're working on specific model area and you want to go and have a look at clashes in there, you can just jump directly there and then see if there is anything happening. Anything that's red, you can zoom in and see where the interference point is exactly. So we don't just highlight objects, we actually show you the interference points. So you can jump around predefined views if you want to, or for instance, smart groups can even be used as a clash set. So if I bring a few up, I can say, okay, let's have a look at cable trays and structural walls. I can isolate those elements whilst I'm flying around the model, and then I see there is something red. The closer I zoom in, the more I see the clash, and then I start realizing that there's actually a wall in here, but none of the cable trays are going through any openings. So I can create an issue from this and say provide an opening. So once again, you can mix and match different features to complement each other. And this instant clash is running as you fly around the model, and you can simply deactivate it like this if you want to. And once again, just as we were looking at views, you can use them to predefine specific model area views for, let's say, your design coordination meetings, sorry, or just share it with your client or somebody else. So if people don't really know how to navigate around the model, they can just open up the Views tab and then just have a look at the areas and then say, okay, we're happy with it, or we're not happy with it, or the client can quickly have a look at the design and say, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. I really like this balcony layout, the windows color and things like that. So it's just one of the ways to making it simple for people to navigate around the models. So that's how the model viewer works, and that's how you can interact with it and do whatever you like, data analytics or issue tracking or clash detections or model revision comparisons. We can also do it in issues and risks board in a not a viewer-based fashion. So in here we have a nice interactive board that we can filter by, let's say, topic type or priority, whatever you like it to be. It's very similar to issue tracking in the viewer, but here you're just working in a 2D environment. So this is a issue tracking, just issue tracking essentially. But here you have access to all the attachments, resources that you can share as well. You can share images, you can upload images or photos as well. You can do additional markups. You can interact with things by just dragging and dropping them as well. And if anybody makes changes, you instantly see them as well. So it's a really nice and I feel more user-friendly way of doing your project issue tracking. It's not just a massive spreadsheet that contains cells of information. Here you can interact, you can change the information you see it and how you see it. And then you can also do it not just for a model, you can also do it for anything else, right? You can upload some sort of like PDF files, you can upload images from other model modeling applications. It's entirely up to you. Another one of the things that I actually want to point out that we recently released is an update to safety base. So for instance, if you go to your TeamSpace settings, you have a template. You can download a template or you can upload a predefined. So what this update does is for health and safety or project risk tracking, you have this standardized form in the CSV file format. You can curate your treatment proposals in the sense of if there is some sort of project risk and you have a standard across your practice or a project that you want to use, you can upload it to 3D Repo. So here you can predefine kind of the risk you pick up and how you want to resolve it. once you upload it to 3D Repo and people start looking at risks, they can actually see what you are proposing them to, well, what kind of route you're proposing them to take in resolving it. So if I just open up this model, I'll show you the example of it. So as I'm flying around the model, I see these risk cones, right? They are similar to issue tracking pins, and the layout of the card is quite similar. But once again, you can click on them, and then you can see what the risk is, what is it that people are trying to address. But what's different this time is that you can select predefined fields from, let's say, risk ownership, category, element types, associated activities, from a predefined list that we have uploaded, instead of improvising and filling out random data and random fields of information. You keep it all actually quite standardized. So then you can reuse this data. And what I mean by reusing it is that, for instance, if you had similar problem in the past and you resolved it successfully, you don't have to waste time reinventing the wheel. You can jump to treatment section, click on suggestion, and then you have a list of information. And what is it you're trying to do? Okay, well, I'm trying to actually eliminate it. Well, this is the proposed, the company standard solution that we used in the past and we have in our risk register. Well, if I select this, I then propose this for my treatment. And there I can share it with the team, and then they can comment and say, yeah, I'm happy with it, let's go. So once again, you can reuse your risk solutions in the past to help you manage project risks better. That could be anything to do with health and safety, or just general project management, like site access, site conditions, any sort of delay or anything like that. You can keep it all centralized and standardized and share it with the blogs that go on site before they even set foot on site. You know, they can instantly see where the problem is. If you can save somebody's life, it's far more important than, you know, trying to get the project out the door as quickly as you can. And saving money is also important too for some practices. So that's safety based, and that's how it works right now. A really nice new update that we worked closely with Health and Safety and University of Manchester. This is available for you guys to use now. And just to point out a few things in the sense of 3D Repo, I've pretty much showed you most of the features that you can get in the web browser. That doesn't mean that whatever you see in the web browser is all you get. You can actually access our APIs, which is available online. You can go to our support page and read all about it. But you can use these APIs to then build your custom dashboards. There are sample template files available online. You can download them. So what we're doing in here is we're actually creating a project issue tracking dashboard. In here, we can see which area of the model is, you know, getting most risks from. If we look at that specific area of the model, we can see which discipline, creating how many issues to whom, how many issues are still open. I have my links to these issues. I have all the information about them. But what's really nice is that this is a really valuable data that people often forget to really look back at, right? You can track any kind of issue and then rectify what was the problem with it, right? How long has it taken to resolve? When was it raised? What was the issue in terms of its time taken to resolve it, right? So you can use this data to then help you better manage projects, right? You can see which discipline works best with, during which stage of the project you have real issue spikes, how long each issue is taking to resolve. Why is that? You can see where it's happening. You can see which company is doing well and not so well. This is a really valuable information because you can then use it not to just, you know, help you with this project, but then you can use this data to do data analytics to manage your project better in the future. And you can store this data for yourself if you want to and run your own analysis and algorithms on it if you want to. It's entirely up to you. So this is available for, let's say, issue tracking, but you can also pull model data as well. Any information that is available for 3D models, like element ID type and all sorts of data, it is extractable from 3D Repo. You don't have to open 3D Repo. You can just pull the data away from the model and then have it as a spreadsheet, and then you can interact with it. Like for instance, in here, we're looking at different model revisions, and we can actually validate the data change, right? We can have a look at specific category, right? Structural columns. We can see how much concrete is being added. We can go to specific model levels, see what type of column they're using, how many of them there are, how much volume of concrete do I need. So you can interact with this data. Power BI is just an example. You can link it to anything else like Tableau, Google Sheets, or Airtable. It's entirely up to you. So the models that you upload to 3D, but they're no longer files, we store them as data, right? So you can see a 3D model if you want to, or you can just see the data if you want to. Let me just finish this off by actually quickly showing you latest addition, which is a Revit plugin. If I just quickly open up this model, I'll show you how it works. Once again, we've got a really nice platform in the cloud. Now it's all about linking that information to people using their design authoring tools. Once people do, let's say design review meeting in the web browser, let's say your main engineer is working with an architect somewhere from home, right? And then they pick up an issue in 3D Repo inside the web browser, and you, let's say, a technician looking at this model and seeing what changes you need to make because your design meeting has passed remotely. You can go to add-ins and then open the issue viewer. In there, you can log in. So I have this model that we were looking at earlier, but I have it in Revit now. So I have a structural model, and I'm, let's say, structural engineer. I have a couple of links of design of other disciplines. I open up my 3D Repo issue viewer. I head over to the project, team space, then I go to the project, and I can open up the either model or federation. In that case, we were looking at federation. And I can bring up the same issues, but in Revit now, right? So I can fly around the model and I can just click on the issue, and then it will take me to the same view that they had in 3D Repo. I can open this up. I can see what is it they're trying to resolve. I can see the original markups. I also get access to resources. Is there some sort of PDF file that they're sharing with me that I might use? I can download it and then link it to 3D Repo straight away if I want to. I can also look at any commentary as well. So for instance, if I click on this comment, by the way, this message comes up just to let you know that Revit sometimes doesn't support angled section boxes, but we do. But I think it still works fine. Don't panic, it's all fine. Once again, you can go to specific view that that person is looking at as well, look at that markup. So we're kind of replicating a 3D Repo viewer capability inside Revit. So you don't have to spend time, learning how to do issue management in here. You will naturally just jump and do it the same way like you do it in the cloud. But you can also add comments. You can add comments, you can add screenshots of the model as well. You can upload your own screenshots if you want to. So this is available now online, and you can go to downloads page in 3drepo.com and download it and install it if you wish to use, and you're using Revit as your design authoring tool. We will be adding, obviously, the same features in the future to things like Navisworks, Civil 3D, ArchiCAD. So the list of the supported issue viewers will keep on growing as the time goes on. So I believe that's it in terms of most of the features available in 3D Repo. Let's perhaps have a look at the questions if there are any. Okay, there are quite a few. Okay, so the questions are, what are the hardware requirements to run 3D Repo? Good question. Essentially, it's for, let's say, not large models, you can run it on your dedicated Intel graphics card. If you're trying to run large models that exceed size of, like, let's say 1 GB, we would recommend to have a dedicated graphics card. If you want to know more about it, you can go to 3drepo.com/support. And if you go to FAQs, there is actually a more detailed explanation on what hardware requirements are. But essentially, all you need is a web browser. And if you do run large models, we would recommend you have a dedicated graphics card and maybe 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Is this webinar recorded? Yeah, this webinar is being recorded. Don't worry, we'll share it later with you. Question as well, GIS integration, are you able to do that? Yes, currently you can link maps to 3D repo and load them as map tiles. We have OpenStreet or Here Maps integration. So that's doable inside the model viewer. You can do that. Where can I download the new Revit plugin? As well, good question. If you go to 3D Repo Platform and you go to resources and downloads, there you have all the information as well for plugins. Another question in terms of Power BI templates as well, these are available here too. So you can download any sample templates or any kind of information on setup guidance. It's all available for you here as well. Is there an audit of changes made in the database? That's quite a tricky question. If you mean that if there is an audit trail, there is. Like I showed you, for instance, when you look at things like model revisions, which one? For instance, in here we have 2 revisions. You can see what revisions and how they come in and where they come from. But at the same time, everything is controlled in terms of creation and deletion. So if an issue gets created, it's here. We don't delete issues because we want to keep full audit trail. Otherwise, people will start deleting things and then say they never seen them. But you can create reports from this if you want to. So you can keep documentation for yourself. It's a PDF file that you can export and then share with others or yourself. But they have hyperlinks as well. So if you click on the hyperlink here or the image itself, you'll jump directly to that issue in the model viewer if you want to, given that you have access to this model. So there is a full audit trail, obviously, for everything that happens in 3D Repo. And you can see it for issues, safety base or model revisioning as you check things like Instant Clash or 3D Diff. I think that's it for now in terms of questions. If anyone has any more questions, do drop us 1 or 2. I don't want to hold everyone back unless you're quite busy. Okay. Another question, can you automate the model upload so that new published issues are automatically available in 3D Repo? Yeah, sure, you can automate model uploads. There's a script we can share with you for batch uploading if you want to. Currently, you upload models directly on 3drepo.io, so you can select it and upload it this way, but you can automate it via API. So for instance, if you're using common data environments, like example A-side, they have ability to push new models or model revisions to 3D Repo directly, so you don't have to download and upload or anything. You can set up a workflow and then via API models automatically are uploaded to 3D Repo. So that's doable once again because we have APIs. Because we're in the cloud, you can interact with us in any shape and form and link external softwares if you want to. Also, another question, how many collaborators can use this system at one time for design coordination? As many as you want. So for instance, you can log in and run it on your laptop, and then somebody else can log in to the same federation and run it on their laptop. You can either share screens using conference call solutions, or you can just start sending issues and create issues. And as soon as the comment appears or issue appears, the other person will see it. So it's pretty much like instant messaging app type of thing. So you can quickly in live feed form see information pop in and out. So that's there is no limitation as such in terms of how many users can use it at once. Okay, so I think that's about it, unless there are any more questions. Once again, guys, you can sign up for free. You get a free account, up to 100 megabyte storage. You feel free to test. You have access to all the features. Don't forget about our support center. If you have any questions, you can go to Support Center. There are video tutorials, user guides, information on BIM forensics, how to link external tools via APIs. And if you have any questions in terms of wanting to do a pilot or anything to do with pricing or sales, just get in touch with Jack. He will be happy to help you and answer any queries you have. And if you have any support queries, do email me. I will be available to answer as soon as I can and help you get the best out of 3D Repo. So once again, thank you very much for dialing in. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day in the comfort of your own home and get to go outside and get some fresh air. Hopefully we will be working all together soon, but once again, you can work collaboratively remotely, and hopefully 3D Repo can help you with that. Thank you very much, guys. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day, and thank you for coming along.